Welcome, Bunny Builder. Gonna show you a bunch of stuff. I was trying to figure all this out, and I couldn't find a video, so this is the video that I wanted to watch to figure it out. Alright, look what we got. We got a cute little poly. What is he doing? He's loading stuff into that projector. I have it feeding out so we can demonstrate. And he's filling it back up with phase fabric. No more, I think this is the most annoying thing, having to fill up projectors with lines just for that one thing that it uses so slowly. Perfect application. How do I do the code? There's a bunch of stuff here. Oh god. I wish flagging and binding was like easy. It's not. It is totally not. And I figured that out because there's a bunch of things that happen if you do it wrong. So let's... Oh no, that's not what I wanted. Go back. Yeah. Alright. So scroll down. Yeah, there we are. Alright. What did I learn? Logic? No, I'll tell that in a minute. Memory cells? Yeah, that's cool. Alright, this one. Flagging. Alright, so one processor, it can really only, unless you get creative, it can really only bind to one unit at a time. If I hover over it, you can see it's bound to, what? That little poly, the projector, and that memory cell. If you ever tried doing this before, so let's make a fun mistake. Let's create a processor. Let's make a bunch of little tiny monos. Go to here. We'll make a really quick program that shows what happens when you do it wrong. So let's bind a unit. We'll bind a mono, little mono, and then we will. What will we do? We will tell it to do something. Unit control. Alright, let's move it to 0, 0, the bottom left corner of the screen. And you know what? Let's just even add an end. It's not going to do anything, because once the program gets to the end, it goes back to the top. So I'm going to go back, and the program's going to start like instantly. And look what happens. All the monos that are on the screen, they're all going down there. Look at these little monos. The default flag for like any unit you bind is 0. Even if it's not bound, it's 0. So oh, he doesn't have anything on him. Let's give him some resources. So it doesn't matter how many I make, it's going to tell them to go down there. So it looks like it's controlling these two monos at the same time. It's not. It's going through that program, it's finding a mono, it's telling it to go down. It's finding another mono, telling it to go down. Finding another mono, telling it to go down. And if it repeats over the same mono, that's just what it's doing. It's just infinitely repeating, finding a mono and telling it where to go. That's annoying, because you don't want to take control of every single unit on the screen and annoy everyone. You just want one dude doing one thing. So let's get rid of that. And what happens is after a minute or two, not a minute, a few seconds, if they don't have any directions, they're just going to go back to what they want to do. Alright, and then the other thing I figured out, which was crazy, message cells, message blocks, if you copy and paste them, hello. If you copy and paste this, it's going to keep having the same message. And if you copy and paste a memory cell, I can't look inside of it, it clears every time you copy and paste it. Oh, other cool thing about this thing, if I copy and paste it, magic, it still works. This is like the big thing, everyone on the server. If you copy and paste this processor with this... Ooh. If you copy and paste this processor with this memory cell, it will still work. It is easy and amazing. Other processors and code, when I try to copy it, it takes the unit from the original processor and messes with it. It's no good. But figured out a way to make it work, and it's amazing. Alright, we're going to go through it. It's a bunch of code, figure out a bunch of stuff. I'm going to go through it. Hopefully this isn't boring to anyone. Alright. So let's open up this processor. So this processor, to get it going, it's bound to the projector. And let me get rid of this dude. I think I can get rid of him. Alright, he's going to keep doing his thing unless I kill it. Alright, let's kill this program really quick. Let's throw an end right at the top so he doesn't do anything. Let's take control of him and... make a new dude. Alright. So this processor, it's bound to projector 1, and it's bound to cell 1. All right, we're going to go through the code the first time as if the computer is reading the code. So let's get rid of this little n there. All right, so line 1, read on cell 1 at 0. So it's looking at that memory cell. It's saying what is on, read the variable on and tell me what the number is. Read memory cell, line 1, look for the variable on. And now that that variable is like in the memory, being looked at, it says if that number equals 1, I want you to skip down over this step. Basically what this is doing is it's making so that this step only happens once, and it sets all these different values for us. So because it's the first time we're running this code together, the computer's running the code, it's not set at 1, it's set at 0. We're going to set this new variable called uCount to 0. We're going to create a random number from 0 to 100,000. We're going to take that random number, so this is called random, random 0. We're going to take that random number, random 0, and we want to get rid of all the decimal places. When you make a random number, it has a bunch of decimal places, it's annoying, so floor gets rid of it. And then we're going to create a new value called random 1, so it's a random number, no decimal places. And then we're going to set a value called on to 1, and then we're going to write it to that memory cell. And then we end, so we go back to the beginning. So now that our memory cell has a value of 1, we can jump down. So we're going to jump down to dummy. I don't know. I just put it there so as a way to like separate things from the initialization steps. All right. So this next from lines, and everything starts at 0. So from lines 8 to 12 starts the unit binding and flattening process. So uCount, our uCount is set to 0, so we're not going to jump. I want to bind a poly, and then jump if unit is not null. If at unit is not null. So basically, we're going to try to bind a poly. If that poly is bound, we're going to look at that poly, and if he exists, we can go to the next step. We can skip the end. If he doesn't exist, because we're looking at unit, if he doesn't exist, we're going to end it, and it's going to go back to the beginning. So this is going to keep searching until it finds a poly available. Let's say all your polys are gone. Yeah, no polys. We don't want to lose the code or get it into a loop. So it's just going to go back to the beginning. So you keep looking for a poly. Next, unit bind. So we found a poly that exists. Awesome. Unit bind. We're going to sense that unit, and if that unit is being controlled, we're not going to take it. So basically I made a value called controlled. So we're going to at controlled. So one of the things on this big long list is at controlled. We're going to see if that unit is controlled. If it is controlled, if it is, what does this do? Jump if controlled. All right. If it's controlled, it's going to be 1 or null. I can't remember. Anyway, it's going to be a value. But if it's not controlled, we're going to get 0 because all the default uncontrolled units are 0. Actually, I'm not sure if I need this. I think I do. I think I've tested this before. Anyway. All right, so the unit's not controlled. Perfect. We're going to go to the next step. If it was controlled, it'd go back to the beginning, search for a poly, So next, we're going to flag with that random value. So random 1. Where are we right now? Right here. Yep. So we successfully found a unit. It exists. It's not being controlled. And now we're going to set it, give it a flag. So it's going to set the flag at the random number that we made in the beginning. So if I look at, let's go back for a quick second. So if I look at this guy, oh look, I got a new friend. If I hover mouse over him, he has that little, I can't show you on the screen. If you look in the bottom right, there's a little gear and it says 16473. That's the random number. He's being controlled. Perfect. He has a flag. So we get a flag, and now we're going to set the uCount to 1. So we no longer have to find and flag a unit. The uCount's set to 1. So we go to end. So now let's see where we go. So we're going to go back to the beginning. Read on cell 1 at line 0. Read variable on in cell 1 at line 0. We did that already because it equals 1. We can jump down to here. And then it says if uCount equals 1. So last time we did, we set the uCount to 1. So now we can jump all the way down here. Oh my gosh. We did all that just to bind the unit. All right, so now is the fun part. Now is when we can tell the unit what to do. So this first part checks if the unit is holding items. So items equals total items in the unit that's currently being controlled at unit. Because this is the first time that we have the program is running and it's a poly, which don't mine things by themselves. He's gonna have no unit. He's gonna have no items in his little pockets. I don't know what he has. He's not gonna be holding anything. So because he's holding less or equal to 1 items, we can jump all the way down to here. So this is finding the location of the projector. So X is the variable that I'm creating. I could really call this anything. I can call this dest X. I can call this dest Y. It doesn't matter. I'm creating that variable. But here, I want the at Y location of the projector that's currently linked, and I want the at X location and then at Y location that's currently linked with that projector. Then I want it to move, and because I changed those 2 variables, we got to change these 2. So this is going to be dest X now, and this is going to be dest Y. Dest. Yeah, beautiful. All right. He's going to move to that location, and then he's going to... Oh, no, I think I messed this up. Oh, yeah. If he's holding greater or equal to 1 items, I'm going to keep going in the code. Oh, I messed it up. It's okay. It's okay. Sorry, guys. All right, let's just keep going. I already started recording. I don't want to do this over. All right. So if he's holding items that equals 1 or more, he is going to find a building. It's going to be a core, and it's not going to be the enemy, so that's going to be false. And then it's going to create a value called out X, out Y. And then I don't know what found does. I don't know. And the building I call core. I think this is what we call it. I don't really know. Just copy this. This part I haven't looked into too much. But the unit is going to move to that location. The value out X that we just created, the new value out Y that we just created, and then it's going to take items from the core, and this is called at phase fabric with a dash for any spaces. And the amount is 30. You have to make sure that the amount matches your unit's item capacity. So poly is going to hold 30 items. It's got to be 30 or less. It can't be more, or else it'll just sit there trying to get more than it can take. All right, so I did that. So he picked up all these items and then end. So it goes back all the way to the beginning. And when it goes back all the way to the beginning, I'm going to basically get to this step again, and the jump is he holding items now? Yep, he's holding items. Let's go down. And then I already talked about this. We're going to identify the location of the projector that's currently linked to the processor. We're going to move to that projector, that current location. And then we're going to drop everything he has. You can put more than he has. It just drops everything. Yeah, and the cool thing about this is because it's going to the top of the code and all the way down, he's going to sit there and keep trying to deposit all of his items until he gets down to 0. He's going to keep doing that every time the code runs, and the code runs multiple times per second. All right, this last bit is cute, actually. I really love it. I'll show you. And it says, is he alive? Is he alive? So we created a new variable called alive, and it's going to check the health of the unit. It's going to create a number for alive. And then if alive is less than or equal to 0, it's going to do something. It's going to go back. It's going to set on to 0. So remember in the very, 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 very beginning, the initialize step, it's going to turn that initialize step, it's going to flip it from I've done it already to we got to do it again. And I'll show you what that looks like. It's actually pretty cute. And this is just a signature at the end. So I can take control of this guy, or both of these guys, and they both want to do their job. They're so cute. Look at them. They want to go do their jobs, no matter where I go. I can let go of them, and they're still bound to their job. But if I take control of him, he's still bound. He still has a flag on him, even though I'm controlling him, because it's not asking these guys to do anything. Watch, I can V, and he goes back and does his job. But if I take control of him, or if he dies in the line of fire, oh no! A brand new polybaby just takes his place. And that's the last bit of code. It's checking the health at the end of the code every single time, saying, are you alive? Are you alive? Are you alive? And the last one is signature. Yeah, there's 2 more things I got to talk about. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. What else? Oh, if you copy this code, do me a favor. You got to do me a favor. If you like this code, if you copy it, I totally support that. You got to put a little after the last end. You got to put a little print at the end that says "I love Bunny Builder," something like that. So if I ever find your code, or if I find someone that has copied your code, I can like feel warm inside. I want to feel warm inside, guys. All right. The 2 other things that I want to talk. Take 2. All right. I mess things up. I make mistakes, but that is life. And learning how to fix your mistakes is coding, and it's just not good for when you're recording on camera. So this is the 3rd take on this one part. Just this one part. All right. So let's say that you got this going. You can fill a projector on your own with a little polybaby, but you don't want a polybaby anymore, and you don't want to be filling a projector. Let's say that you want to be filling an air factory. Let's put that down there. And let's say you want to be filling it with, I don't know, silicone, because you need to. So if you look, I just threw that code on there, and he instantly wants to work. He wants to, what did he do? We found a unit, we bound him, poly unit, he got some phase fabric, but he's doing something weird. He can't find the location of that factory. So we got to go in and change a bunch of stuff. So amazingly, I just highlighted all the things that you have to change, and we're going to go and do it together really quick. So, first one, it is line 10, ubind. It's right after the dummy. Yep, ubind, we want a flare baby, done. Next, when we bind a second time, why do I bind twice? Oh, wait, no. Yeah, the first one to see if they exist. The second one is, it just binds a new unit and sees if it's controlled. All right, second time, flare baby, beautiful. All right, now we're gonna go down towards the bottom when we start taking items. So we don't want flare babies to take phase fabric. We want them to take silicon. Silicone is not spelled with an E. Annoying. Other take, don't worry about it. And then his capacity is 20 items. Beautiful. All right, now we go to the problem. The reason he's going in the corner of the screen, he's trying to go to projector 1. There's no projector 1 right now. It is factory 1. Factory 1. All right, and then when he drops it, we don't want to drop it to projector 1. We want to drop it to factory 1. All right. So when I go back, nothing's really going to change. I mean, he's going to go to where he's supposed to go, but he's trying to drop some silicone right now into, like, whatever. Ooh, I could fix this really quick. I could just get rid of this little memory cell and then put a new memory cell on there because they get wiped. He's going to lose his job in a second. Yep, and a new baby's going to come over. If you see, if I wait a few seconds, this should lose its job. Maybe. And if I copy and paste it just like the other parts of the program, it should be grabbing new babies. Yeah, babies. Fill those factories. I love this. I love watching these little munchkins run along and do their job. This is like my new favorite part of the game, just watching these little dudes doing their jobs. Like, telling them what to do and have them do it. There's a community episode where they get into a video game. It's exactly this, and I love it. Yeah, perfect. So now you know what to change to make your little babies do your jobs on your blocks, whatever jobs you want. All right, next part of the video. This was such a long part, guys. Such a long part. All right, units. There's only certain types of units that can carry items, and it gets more expensive the more you upgrade them. Let's get an upgrade on here. It gets way more expensive per unit, and sometimes it's just not worth it. So this is a cool little cute breakdown I made. This is math. I love math. So we got the mono, the poly, the mega, like first, second evolve, third evolve form, and then we got the little flare. If I take a look at this, they all have different speeds. So I pulled this directly off like the GitHub Mindustry wiki. And they all have different item capacities. I did some maths. to figure out like their fill factor, and this is it. If you can see, the monos are the least efficient, especially if you consider you're paying more for a mono than you are a flare, and you get double like fill factor. It gets items there twice as quick as the mono. So just use the flare. Never use a mono. And plus, monos are annoying because when you try to bind with them, they're carrying stuff, and I don't know. I guess maybe there's an argument to use monos because they don't do anything else and they're not trying to fight in any action. Anyway, if we can see, a poly really isn't that worth it either compared to a flare. I mean, yeah, it has like 15 more fill factor units. This is just a relative number, but it costs way more. 70 silicone, 15 lead, 40 graphite. Not until you get to Omega is it like really worth it to use to fill things. So I would say, guys, you're either using flares or megas to fill your stuff. A flare is cheap, it's nice, small little activities. Megas are probably the best for filling larger things like what is this guy called? If you want to get crazy and start doing multiplicative reconstructors, yeah, use 4 megas to fill it. It'll get done quick. I think that's everything, guys. So much stuff. Yeah, oh, remember, if you use this code, you gotta throw a signature at the end, after the end. I love Bunny Builder. Something. I want to see this out in the world. That's it. If you guys have any questions, put it in the comments, and I'm like a small little channel. I need comments. They fill my heart. Yeah, something like that. Alright, bye. Really quick, guys, one more thing. There's 2 resources that I found amazing when I was learning this all of like 3 days ago. One is this dude Beyond's PDF manual something. It's like all the different commands and everything you kind of wish you knew before you started doing code and before you got upset and tried to find it on the GitHub website. And then there's this other dude, crazy, he's like recording the screen with a camera. I have no clue. But all the stuff he goes over is like gold as far as like processing and trying to do stuff. Do both of these in the description. It's cool. Just do it.